My name is Lotfi Al Sharif. I'm the Vice President at Al-Hussein Technical University, which is an uncomprehensive technical university that embraces employability as its main objective. We have been pioneering in the areas of apprenticeship and technical studies. So today we are at the MedGem workshop on hydrogen and PTX, Power to X. And we've had lots of interesting discussions today. I specifically concentrated on the skills assessment, assessing the effect of a hydrogen transition economy on employment in Jordan. What jobs would it need? What the numbers? And this has been actually based on a lengthy study which we've been doing in cooperation with the GIZ as a university, looking at the local sectors, how they use hydrogen, what is the potential of them using hydrogen, what are the quantities of hydrogen that could be potentially produced either for local consumption or for export to markets like Europe, for example, and otherwise. We've identified the number of jobs based on 10 sectors. So we've looked at sectors like fertilizers. For example, there's a strong fertilizer industry in Jordan which could benefit from green ammonia produced from green hydrogen. We also looked at sectors like refineries, Jordan Petroleum Refinery, and how it can actually convert from grey hydrogen to green hydrogen and what benefits that would produce. We also looked at areas like transport, green transport using hydrogen, using trucks and public transport buses. And we also looked at other areas like, for example, areas that use large amounts of heat, like steel production and cement. And we call these hard to abate sectors. They are sectors which are very difficult to decarbonize with the use of electricity. So hydrogen would be actually an ideal intermediate component. I presented the study. I think there was lots of interesting discussions around it, around the numbers and so on. And also one of the issues was these jobs, where would they come from? And do we start from scratch? Do we train someone right from the beginning for 5 years as a hydrogen engineer or a hydrogen technician? And I think the point of view that I put across is that we can upskill existing graduates. An existing graduate who is unfortunately unemployed could benefit from upskilling himself or herself, adding new skills related to hydrogen in a very short period of time, in a 6-month period of time, concentrating on specific skills that are needed for the hydrogen economy. This has two advantages. The first advantage, it actually allows us to be very dynamic and responsive to the market, bringing in skills very quickly onto the market. And the other advantage, it starts addressing the unemployment problems that we suffer from in Jordan, as in many other countries in the region. Regarding the new jobs that are needed, this is an interesting area. There are some jobs that we need to concentrate on very specifically because of the safety critical aspects. So there is actually definitely a job of health and safety officer. And a health and safety officer would be someone maybe background of engineering or something similar. He or she would actually receive proper training and certification in the area of health and safety, because hydrogen obviously is a flammable liquid. Even ammonia as well, which is a hydrogen derivative, also has health risks and needs to be handled properly. Another area which is interesting is specific technicians that work in safety critical areas, like electrician working in a hydrogen facility, or welder or gas services. So these three technicians would need specific training because of the safety criticality of that field. Other jobs would be basically upskilling an existing engineer, like mechanical, electrical or chemical engineer, and upskilling him or her into the hydrogen field. So equipping him or her with the required skills and capabilities, building on the previous knowledge, the 5-year or the 4-year degree that they have already studied. So accepting the fact that they already have lots of skills which are useful to the hydrogen economy, but equipping them with the skills and the knowledge, and all of these jobs will have a 50% content of theory and a 50% content of practical hands-on training on actual industrial grade facilities. So the training will actually concentrate on that, looking at the skills, observing them doing the skills and gaining them and doing them properly in a controlled environment. Yeah, so regarding what is required in terms of help and support, whether from the government, whether from the European Union and MedGem and so on, I think there is actually a need for intermediate support in terms of training, upskilling, study tours. These have been very, very useful support from the European Union. So study tours are very, very useful for decision makers and technical staff in Jordan, understanding what the state of the art is in Europe, how are a lot of these things done, and transferring that knowledge and technology transfer to Jordan. I think there is definitely an incentive and regulatory need, or a need for incentive and regulatory framework to encourage this energy transformation. It is not going to be easy transforming from a conventional grey hydrogen economy to a green hydrogen economy. It does need a kickstart at the beginning. So there is a need from the government to prepare a regulatory framework that encourages people to do that. There is also a financial incentive framework which is needed to encourage companies and the private sector. The private sector will find it difficult to move if there are not enough incentives. So there is a role on the government. I think from the European Union and MedGem, I think it would be useful to have things, as I said, like study tours and so on. But I think long term there is also a need to see how the market can be incentivized and stimulated so that the green hydrogen will be produced in Jordan and then will be, and its derivatives, and then will be exported and used in European markets. There is that need to kickstart. I think once it gets started and it becomes feasible, then it can actually flow by its own. But I think the first 5 or 10 years will be critical in having that financial support and the customer support to get that system up and running. I think I would like to send a message, I think, of hope, and I think I am very hopeful that we are moving in the right direction. I think Jordan has lots of challenges, but I think we've had a good support and good governance from the government in terms of guiding the market in terms of renewable energy, and I think the success that they have achieved in renewable energy actually guides us toward a green hydrogen economy, which is a continuation and a necessary step. We are very grateful as well to MedGem and the EU and the GIZ in terms of all of the opportunities that they have offered us in Jordan and so on, in terms of cooperation, opening up avenues and so on, and that's been very, very well received, and I think it's starting to have a good effect on education and the economy and the local market.